What's up, you amazing people? I hope you're having a fantastic day. You are, of course, watching and listening to the Daily Dirty 30, also known as the DDT, here on The Kevin Lee Show. And I am your host, Kevin Lee. Now, for those of you who do not know what the DDT is all about, let me take a moment to explain. You see, it's a show that airs live at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday, and it's where I get to spend 30 minutes telling you, the viewer, all about the things that bother me today. What do I get out of it? It's easy. It's therapeutic. Why should you tune in? That's even easier. It's entertaining. Sound like a fair trade? Good. Let's get to it. Hello, friends. Hello, family. Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Dirty 30 here on The Kevin Lee Show. This is, of course, a show that airs every Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, and runs somewhere around 30 minutes. I am, of course, your loyal host, Kevin, and today we're going to be talking about a smorgasbord. Yes, I did use smorgasbord of topics, but we're going to start off with, write this, new to Twitter. So, the reason why we're talking about this is not that I'm new to Twitter, not that many people are new to Twitter, but apparently somebody is. And it was trending on Twitter earlier today. And so I looked into it, and sure enough, this will be good. So, as you can see, it was trending. It had 155,000 tweets. So, I mean, that's not astronomical. I've seen millions of tweets before on certain things, certain subjects, but typically, 155,000 is actually a fairly substantial number of tweets. So I had to look into it, of course. And apparently this is why it was trending. I said, welcome to Twitter, the Vin Scully. We miss you, but we hope you are enjoying your retirement the best of all time. Apparently, former LA Dodgers, I don't know if he's a color commentator or if he's play-by-play, but he was I think he was a radio guy for the LA Dodgers. Vin Scully, he joined Twitter. So for some reason, the whole world blew up about it. And that's fine. I mean, congratulations to the guy. That's awesome. At least he's keeping busy, right? But the thing that got to me was some of the tweets that they decided to post, or people decided to post because of this, were actually kind of interesting, kind of funny, and kind of creative. For example, someone posted, welcome to Twitter. This is how things are done around here, how social media works. Me, I prefer mangoes to oranges. Random person. So basically what you're saying is you hate oranges. You also fail to mention pineapples, bananas, and grapefruits. Educate yourself. I'm literally shaking. Okay, I'm sorry. That is hysterical. And I'm sure this is probably an old meme that's been around forever. I've never seen it before, but that was perfect. Other advice and things you can say around being new to Twitter. Welcome to Twitter, the petting zoo from hell. Here we have some cute goats. Over there, a grown man having a meltdown about a female video game character. Visit the gift shop. You'll hate it. Again, we have another one. It says, gee damn it, if only I were a baseball commentator for 60 years and not a dumbass 15-year-old making stick figures, I could have had a warm welcome followed by 50,000 followers. The Vin Scully lucky man, welcome to Twitter. So apparently, he is very well loved, at least by LA Dodger Nation, right? So someone made an announcement, someone retweeted it, someone must have talked about it because here you go. First day right there into the Twitter line, he's got 50,000 followers. Pretty impressive. Here's another tweet that went out under the trend, welcome to Twitter. It says, welcome to Twitter, where you can find grown-ass adults involved in high school level drama. Now, if that ain't the truth, have you been on Twitter in the last, I don't know, ever? It's ridiculous, especially now that we're in 2020. We have everything going on with Corona. We have everything going on with the masks, everything going on with Trump, everything going on with the election and Harris and Pence and blah, 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 blah. It's insane, but I love it. I have to admit, I love it a little bit. But you have to be careful out there because people are going to freak out on you. There's no doubt about that. People are absolutely going to freak out on you. So you have to be careful and you have to have thick skin. Don't be afraid to state your opinion, but be prepared for, a good slap in the face once in a while. Here's another one. Welcome to Twitter. You're going to see some shit you didn't ask to see, okay? Again, truth in advertising. Welcome to Twitter, also known as Catfish Academy. Now, I actually have never really seen that side of Twitter, but, I believe it. I believe it's true. I believe it could be true. Okay, this one made me laugh. So again, for the people at home who are listening to the podcast and not watching, I'll read it to you. It says, You're a bit of an asshole? Welcome to Twitter. You'll fit right in. And actually, you know what? I suggest we make that the official tagline for Twitter. Or the motto. It's got to be, right? It just absolutely has to be. I think that's the last one. That was the last one. Pardon me, I have to have a quick sip of water. My allergies are just terrible. I made a bright decision after last fall. And I take, so I don't know if anyone's like this. This is how I am. I take Zyrtec, right? That's what I've taken religiously for probably 2, 3, 4 years, every single season. In fact, last year, it seemed like my allergies were so bad, I was on Zyrtec about 70% of the year. After fall came and went, and winter came, I decided, during the actual point where I no longer needed to take allergy medication, I decided I was simply going to just not take allergy medication this year. I'm tired of being dependent upon it. I mean, it's expensive. It's not expensive, but it costs money. But that's not even the issue. The issue is I hate having to take it. I hate having to go on and buy it. I hate having to take it every day. And not only that, the worst thing, and maybe this is just me, allergy medication puts me to sleep and makes me feel like a zombie. I will literally spend half the year feeling like I'm half a person. Like I get lost easily, and I thought I was getting old. But apparently I stopped taking the medication, fixed most of all my problems. So I decided I'm not any longer going to take Zyrtec. So this spring, I didn't take it. But spring is spring. It's not that bad. Summer came, things got a little, flare-ups here and there of allergies, but I was able to deal with it. But now that we're hitting to hay fever season and it's the fall, and I'm in the Midwest, it's freaking terrible. So some advice to you, I don't know, figure out what causes allergies and cure it, because this sucks. But I don't want to take the medication, because if I do, I will be a zombie again, and I will literally not even be able to do my podcast because I will be terrible. But moving on, there was something else trending on Twitter. Now, we're not going to just talk about things that were on Twitter, but this one was pretty funny. I don't know if you're a fan of President Trump. I'm not generally a fan of President Trump, but I don't hate the man. I think he's done some good things. I think he's done some bad things. And he is what he is, and he's done what he's done, and he's our president currently. And sometimes he'll make out a tweet or he'll make a comment, and sometimes it's kind of funny. This is one of those times where it was very funny. And I'm going to introduce you to Joe Biden's new moniker. Joe Biden. That's right, Joe Biden. This is what President Trump decided to call his competition during the election. Because as many people know, Joe Biden has spent a substantial amount of time hiding in his basement. For whatever reason, we don't know. Maybe he's just trying to be careful. Maybe he's just trying to stay away from the coronavirus so he doesn't get sick. Maybe he's saving himself for the debates or whatever. But this was an hysterical comment that Trump made. So apparently, Trump dubs rival Joe Biden, mocking Democratic nominees' absence from campaign trail. And as we know, he was in the basement quite a bit lately. And this is perfect. This is the best of politics, and as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to election season. This is the type of thing I live for. It was above the waist. It was honest, and frankly, it's funny as hell. So we can't complain about that. And then here's someone else talking about it. Joe Biden is simply an amazing nickname for Basement Joe. Well done, real done, Trump. Absolutely, Joe. But then, so that was a good part of this whole controversy between Trump and Biden. And Biden, is getting angry, and he's trying to take jabs at Trump and trying to undercut him or embarrass him or make him look bad in any way he can, right? Again, we're in election season. This is what you do. It's not unheard of. It's not unusual. But Joe Biden, and this is something that really bugged me, and you're going to find out why real quickly. It says, Joe Biden tells Donald Trump to get off Twitter and start helping schools reopen as he blasts chaos and says families across the country are paying for his failures. So when I read that, I was a bit confused because I'm starting to wonder if Joe Biden even understands what the president's job is. Because he's telling Donald Trump to get off of Twitter and start helping schools reopen. It's not up to Trump if schools reopen. Period. It's not up to the president. It's not even up to the federal government. Every single state gets to decide what they're going to do and what they're not. The federal government can make guidelines. They can make suggestions. The president can make a public plea. He can call up the governors and say, hey, you need to do this, or you need to shut down, or you need to whatever. But that's all he can do. That's the only power he has. He cannot fix anything. He can't, help the schools reopen by helping them give them better guidelines. They don't enforce the guidelines. These are all done on the state level. So apparently Joe does not understand that for whatever reason. And he says families across this country are paying for his failures. Again, like Trump, hate Trump, love Trump, despise Trump. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you something right now, and I'm going to be honest. I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not someone who's against him. I didn't vote for him, and I don't wish against him. I wish him to be the best president ever. That being said, COVID-19 and the response to it has not been his fault. Now, we can go and spend 2 hours talking about this. I could debate you. I can tell you from the technical levels. I can tell you how the CDC responded and how we didn't accept tests right away, because guess what? We never do. That is the policy of the CDC. It was that policy under Bush when we had SARS originally, which is also SARS. When we had SARS in 2003, that was the response. When we had MERS, that was a response. When we had H1N1, that was a response. When we had the Ebola, that was a response. We never take outside of the U.S. testing. I mean, maybe if it came to a point where it was literally life and death and millions of people were getting sick, maybe they would take it, but they don't. They already have the guidelines on how to make a test. They check it out, they develop it, they put their own stamp on it, and then they make it. That was nothing new under Trump. Period. Trump tried to close the borders. Everyone, including Dr. Fauci and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, attacked him. Well, Fauci didn't attack him for being a racist, but everyone else called him a racist for doing what he was doing. And Tony Fauci said it wasn't necessary. And then, of course, 4 weeks later, Fauci was saying that Trump should have closed the borders even a month earlier, or keep people from China out a month earlier. It's ridiculous. It's all politics. Trump had nothing to do with COVID-19. He's just getting blamed because the media and the left are going to use it to attack him, and maybe rightly so in certain ways, because, Trump does get an attitude, and he'll have a press conference, and he'll act like something wasn't his fault, and he'll try to point blame to other people, because, he can be childish and immature. It's Trump. But he is who he is. But again, it's just politics. It's politicking. And I don't blame the left for doing it, and I don't blame the media who supports the left for doing it. But, I mean, you, as the average person, have to be able to see this. You have to see it's a game. You have to see you are being played. You just open your eyes. It's not that hard. You can do this. I know you can. He attacked Trump's handling of the COVID crisis. American families all across this country are paying the price for his failures. So that is the end of the Trump-Biden, Joe Biden controversy. But next we're going to jump in to this. What was trending earlier today was the Electoral College. I'm sure you probably have some understanding, if not a great understanding, of what the Electoral College is, why the Electoral College exists and why it has for so long, and why no one in the right mind wants to see it go away. Well, Nate Silver he's kind of a statistician. He does statistical analysis, and he started with sports, but he's gotten his way over the years into politics, and he's built a career on it. I can't say one way or the other how successful he is, but we're going to actually pick apart what's going on right now with what he's claiming and what he is saying. Right here, he was trending, as you can see. Well, Electoral College was trending, but he was trending with it. And this is why. He put out this tweet, I think it was earlier today. It says, chance of Biden Electoral College win if he wins the popular vote by X points. What that means is that if by popular vote he wins 0 to 1% of the popular vote more than Trump, Biden has a 6% chance of winning the Electoral College. By 1 to 2 points, it jumps up to 22% chance. 1 in 4. If he wins just 2 to 3% of the Electoral College above Trump, he has literally almost a 1 in 2 chance of winning, and so on and so forth. Now, statistically speaking, there might be some truth to this, but this isn't the first time we've heard this either. So again, we'll look at the next numbers. It says 3 to 4 points. So if Biden claims his 3 to 4 point popular vote over Trump, he has roughly a 74% or a more than likely chance that he will win the presidency. Now, the reason why I think this is so vital, and again, there is this tweet that says, our final forecast of the year just published. Clinton is a 71% chance, or 71% favorite in polls only, 72% in polls plus. Now, again, he's saying this. If Biden has a 3 point, or basically 3% popular vote win, he will have a 74% chance of winning the Electoral College. This was the same thing that was basically stated under the 2016 election with Clinton. He was forecasting that Clinton had a 71% chance of winning the polls for the popular vote, and therefore he had a 74% chance of winning Clinton, Hillary Clinton, of course, had a 72% chance of winning the election. And this is the actual numbers they posted. These are all from the same tweets, all from 2016. Okay. This was the prediction. Clinton was going to win 302 electoral votes. Trump was going to win 235. McMullen, did you remember that he even ran? Do you remember McMullen? And Johnson, poor Johnson of the Libertarian Party, was going to get 0.0 electoral votes. And that's exactly what happened, unfortunately. This next slide is kind of a doozy. So again, we'll go back to this one here. So under Clinton, he was claiming Clinton was going to win 72% versus 28%. She was going to win 302 electoral votes versus Trump's 235. And at the end of the election, this is what the electoral map looked like. Clinton won 232 to 306. 302 to 235. 306 to 232. He was close, very close. Just got it completely wrong, as so many people did. So I'm not throwing Nate Silver under the bus here. His numbers were actually pretty spot on, but the roles were reversed. Yet he's making the similar or same prediction for Biden during this election versus Trump this time. And honestly, I don't put too much weight into polls. I don't really think people should. I think you should open your eyes and open your ears and start a conversation once in a while. I can tell you, I've spoken with probably 200, maybe close to 300 people that are, many cases, lifelong Democrats, people who are definitely left, not even close to center, who have either told me they don't plan on voting this year, or they plan on, even some of them, voting for Trump. Now, at first I thought it was a joke. I thought that people were pulling my leg, because I've known people literally who wished Trump dead a year ago. But sure enough, they're talking about voting for him. And I thought that was kind of crazy. So I started asking them, well, why would you want to vote for Trump? You hate Trump. They said, I do hate Trump, but I hate what's going on in our country even more. And if Biden becomes president, they're afraid it's going to get even worse. I said, well, what do you mean it's going to get worse? And they said, it's very simple. The violence that's going on is happening because no one's stopping it. And we have all these Democratic-run cities, all these Democratic-run governors, these states, and these are the areas in which most of the violence is the worst. If we have a president who is completely to the left, with the vice president who's even farther left, pulling them farther left, chances are the violence will not only continue, but expand. Now I said, well, don't you think after Trump loses and Biden wins, that all of a sudden magically things are going to clear up and that things are going to be great and COVID's going to slowly dissipate and disappear and won't be an issue come maybe spring and the violence will go away? And they said, no, absolutely not, because these people who are doing the violence are not the protesters. These aren't your quote unquote Democrats. These are the Antifa members. These are the BLM members. These are people who are professionals and trained to create havoc. And they only want to spread that havoc. And they believe that if there's going to be a Democratic president, they can do all the havoc they want because they're going to be doing it in the name of socialism and democracy and Marxism. I thought that was actually a very good point, to be honest with you. Kind of frightening, yes, but very, very true. Now we're gonna. Actually, I think we're done with Electoral College, are we? Let me take a look real quick, make sure I didn't forget any slides. No, I didn't. So now we're gonna talk about Nancy's blowout. Now, if you saw last night's episode or listened to last night's episode, I did kind of go over this very briefly because I was kind of in a mood. I was tired of all these people who have turning their back on politics and saying that it's not an issue and we don't need to deal with it, and things that are politically charged aren't. And I was trying to show examples of things that are politically charged. That pretty much everything we do is politically charged. No matter if it's sending your kids to school or not sending your kids to school, wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, whatever the situation might be. Everything. The USPS, the Postal Service, that's political. I mean, literally, I can't think of anything that is not political. I mean, even for the last how many decades now, the government has been in our bedrooms telling us who we can be with, who we can marry. It's nonsense. It's insanity. It's not even nonsense. It's insanity. Well, again, we did talk a little bit about Nancy Pelosi because she had gone and gotten hair. I thought she got a haircut or something along those lines. And she still might have gotten a little trim. But there's an issue that arisen, which I knew there was some hypocrisy there, but I didn't realize how bad the hypocrisy was. And what we're talking about is this. So Nancy Pelosi, this is, it is from a surveillance camera, so it kind of looks like she's a wanted person. But in this image, she is walking through a salon. And I don't know if you understand how salons function and how they work, but typically what happens in most salons is that you have a salon owner, but when you have all these people who work in the salons, they're independent contractors. They actually don't get paid by the salon owner. They pay the salon owner to use a space. That's basically it in most areas. Now, this may not be the case if you're like at a Supercuts or Great Clips or something like that, but if you're actually in an actual salon, that's usually how it works. Well, as in many parts of the country, especially in California, and specifically in San Francisco where this occurred, the salons have been completely shut down. There's no salons allowed to function. They're not allowed to open their doors, period. It's not, no scheduling. There was literally, they were shunned. All of these salon businesses were shut down, at least temporarily, recently. And Nancy Pelosi knew this. She had to have known this. And if not, then shame on her. But here she is at the salon. She got her hair washed. She got a blowout. She might have gotten a trim, what have you. She said that she made a scheduled appointment with a salon, which is not true because you don't make it with the salon. You make it with your stylist. Now, the stylist allegedly had keys, decided to make the appointment, take her as a client, and then, handle her business and then, finish for the day and make some money. The salon owner did not like this because A, they can get in trouble, and B, they can lose their license, and C, maybe they're just not a fan of Nancy Pelosi. I don't know. They released this video of her not only getting some work done at the salon, but literally not wearing a mask. She had it on. I mean, it was on her neck, but she didn't have it on her face. Everyone else in the video has it on her face, has it on their face. But this is the part that really chaps my hide. So it says Pelosi visited the San Francisco salon on Monday and was caught on video camera footage in a salon and not wearing a mask. She said she wasn't wearing one because she just had her hair washed. The picture is when I came out of the bowl, she said. Obviously, the bowl being where you get your hair cut. Where you get your hair washed. Okay, that's not the part that angers me. It's this very next part, and we're going to even have a little video of it. It says, Speaker Nancy Pelosi said she fell for a setup by the salon where she had her hair done and that it owes her an apology. It was a setup, and I take responsibility for falling for a setup, she said. I think that this salon owes me an apology for setting me up, she said. Now, when I saw this, I thought this is ridiculous. There's no truth to this. This has got to be like an Onion article or the Babylon Bee or just some college paper. Maybe, Mad Libs is back. I don't know. Or National Lampoon or Lampoon, whatever it was called. So that's what I feared this all was. I feared there's no way she actually said these ridiculously stupid words. But no, she did. She absolutely did. In fact, I have proof. Here's a video. Here's an outside press conference that she's attending. And you'll have to listen. I'll probably turn up the volume a little bit. They are outdoors, and this is being recorded, I guess, on someone's cell phone. And I think there is a better recording, but I wasn't able to find it before the broadcast started. But here's Nancy Pelosi addressing that situation where those quotes were actually taken from that we just heard.
Pelosi, I have to ask you about your visit to this hair salon in San Francisco on Monday. It's been quite controversial, and I understand that it was not your first time getting your hair done inside that salon. Can you say how many times?
No, I've been there over the years. I've been there many times. I appreciate the question, and let me just say this. I take responsibility for trusting the word of a neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years many times, and that when they said, well, we're able to accommodate people one person at a time, and that we can set up that time, I trusted that. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for the setup, and that's all I'm going to say on that.
Do you think you owe the service industry an apology? I just spoke to a San Francisco barber who's a fan of yours. He supports you, but he thinks you owe the service industry an apology.
Well, I don't. I think that that this salon owes me an apology for setting up. But I will say this, in fairness to him and in sympathetic to him, We have to get our country moving again.
Okay, there you have it, right from the horse's mouth, I suppose. Nancy Pelosi is not only not really truly taking claim or responsibility for what she did, she's taking responsibility for being a fool and being set up by those conniving salon owners and, hairstylists who want to ruin her life. Really? Really, Nancy? Is that what you're going to do? That was really low. I mean, that was pathetically low. Now we are actually going to be coming up on a half an hour pretty quickly here. So I have, I think, one more quick story I wanted to touch base on, and that is this. We're going to talk about the debates. The debates are set. I mean, they were kind of set before, but now we know a little bit more information about them. Fox News's Chris Wallace will moderate, the first presidential debate and be followed by C-SPAN's Steve Scully and NBC's Kristen Welker. But Donald Trump campaign claim some are clear opponents who will be Joe Biden's teammates. Who cares? The debates are on. That's all that matters. So they actually have it set now. We have Chris Wallace from Fox News. We have Steve Scully from C-SPAN and Kristen Welker from NBC who will be hosting these debates. It says, so Fox News host Chris Wallace will moderate the first presidential debate despite him clashing with President Donald Trump on several occasions. Who cares? He's moderating. He's not there to hold President Trump's hand. NBC News White House correspondent Kristen Welker will moderate the second debate, and senior executive producer at C-SPAN Steve Scully will host the third. Of course, this is Chris Wallace, Kristen Welker, and Steve Scully, just in case you had no idea what these people looked like. Yeah. So the debates are set. I'm kind of excited. I actually don't really care about debates. Actually, I'm going to put this up here. So these are when the debates scheduled. The 2020 United States presidential debates are a series of debates for the 2020 United States presidential election. I think that was a very complicated sentence for no reason. Debates sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates are scheduled to take place September 29th, October 15th, and October 22nd. And that's actually kind of scary, considering that they're estimating that about 75 to 85% of all voters who vote this election will be voting mail-in, and most of them will be receiving their ballots and mailing them back by no later than early to mid-October. Maybe even late September to early October. So the fact that the first debate's not even going to happen until September 29th is truly a travesty, because I would agree in most cases that debates aren't the biggest issue. I mean, they can help a candidate or they can hurt a candidate, but they don't usually destroy a candidate. That could happen this time. And I'm not saying it will. I mean, maybe Biden can really hold his own and he'll be prepared and he'll have his facts and he'll have his faculties about him and he'll be, pumped up or whatever they need to do to him to get him going. But that being said, I have a feeling a large number of voters will already have casted and mailed in their votes before the first election even happens or around the time the first election happens. And that's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And the fact that they're not even going again until October 15th and October 22nd, the election's November 3rd. Almost nobody will be undecided by that point. They really should have pushed them up at least a few weeks. But it is what it is. What are you going to do, folks? Yeah. It is what it is. Now, normally lately, we've been having, normally lately we've been having these happy ending videos. Unfortunately, I do not have one today. So that is my bad, my apology, but I will make up for it tomorrow. Maybe we'll even have two. Maybe we'll have a happy beginning and a happy ending. How does that sound? I think that sounds fantastic. But anyways, folks, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been Wednesday. And tomorrow will be Thursday, which means we only have 2 more days this week. So get prepared, have fun, and have a great day tomorrow. And hopefully we'll have some wonderful stories to talk about. And if not, I'll find something. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.